Do we have free will?
This is a hard one, because I kind of believe that we don't.
Free will, partly.
I think partly we do.
So, do we have free will?
The quickest answer would be no.
Yeah, maybe, but maybe not.
That's a complicated question. There are like two different answers, and I'm probably existing in between them.
It's a hard one. I kind of want to say that we have an opportunity and like an option kind of to have a free will, but do we actually have it? It's a bit more like harder question that you would think. And I'd still say no, because I feel like as much as we might try, I think there's always some bigger powers like kind of like leading us somewhere. So, you know, I would say no, yeah.
No, I don't believe in free will because there's, for example, in advertising, there's so many of questionable things that we see, and the need to make us to consume stuff. It's shady.
Yeah, we can do like kind of whatever we want to, but do we really? Because like we have these obligations to go to work, go to school, get money. Money is the big thing, actually. We have to have money to do stuff. So I don't really think we do, because like from childhood we are learning that we need to do something with our lives to get money, and without money we're nothing. So is that free will?
It's presented to us like we consume with free will, but how many of the advertising we face actually makes us go toward the product, rather than giving us the opportunity to choose, which it does, but is it an illusion? Well, it could be, in sort of an illusion.
In a general sense, me personally, I feel I have free will. At least in my mind, I have free will. But in the real world, in the day-to-day world, I think we're limited by certain constraints, let's say. Whether that's rules that we tend to abide by, laws that we have to abide by, social constraints as well. You know, if we had true free will, I could put a pencil up my nose if I felt like it and wander the streets of town. But there's a social thing there whereby, you know, we are taught that we don't necessarily behave in that way.
So there's like the society influence and all the things that will come from our environment. So I don't know, if my family it's like a religious family and I was raised in a religious environment, I'll probably have some religious concepts just embedded in my mind, and this will guide some of my decisions. So that's one side.
I still don't think we have a free will. Yeah. I would love to say yes, because I would love to be like the one who decides what is going to happen next and how I like to live my life. But I think there's still some kind of like parts in this universe and life that just is gonna keep me going in the same direction that I was meant to go to.
Because there's so many things interrupting our being here. The most usual, I believe, is society in some ways, and in some ways the norms we live in, the trendsetters of each time period, or in each, it's really cultural question actually.
It could be just people, you know, just just authorities or something like that, or it could be something, you know, super magical power. I don't know how to explain it, but something like that, you know, from the universe or something.
So, well, yeah, everyone knows Sartre because of his existentialist ideas, and he usually says that existence precedes the essence. So first you exist, and then you can be whatever you are. But there's another idea that comes from him, and it's, at least in my opinion, it's even more interesting. He says that human beings are condemned to be free because we are totally aware of our choices. So it brings that responsibility that everything that happened with me, it's actually my fault, and it's because of my actions, and I chose each one of these paths.
As I say, in my head, if I'd wanted to, I could pick whoever I wanted to pick. My local team would be Bournemouth, I guess. But because of those social constraints and that social expectation from other people and people around me, then that has obviously led my decision making, which is then kind of gone on over time. I would like to say that I chose Liverpool. I grew up with other people close to my family who were a little bit older than me, who were Liverpool supporters from, you know, before they were amazing in the kind of 70s, 80s, whatever. So I was kind of pushed into supporting Liverpool. Liverpool was, you know, that football club was around me at all times, kind of every day, every night.
And the other side, we gotta keep in mind that the human being is the only one that has some kind of freedom in nature. Like birds, they can only be birds. We usually say like, I wanna be free like a bird to fly away, but this is not freedom at all, because the bird cannot choose not to fly. They are just birds. Like a cat is a cat, a dog is a dog. We can end up on YouTube seeing videos of dogs doing crazy things, but in the end, the majority of the dogs, they will just be dogs.
So I think we are constrained by a number of different factors. I think we all essentially have free will, as I say, in our minds. But then how we are in public, in our workplace, wherever it may be, we don't necessarily have complete free will.
But us, as human beings, we can do whatever we want, and we have conscience, and we are conscious about these decisions that we make. This is like a good thing and a burden at the same time, because we are totally aware of our freedom, and this brings this feeling of like responsibility that animals don't have.
From young age, especially now with Instagram and Facebook and everything, Twitter, former MySpace, everything, we had like these pressures to look certain way, to feel certain way, to put certain objects in our apartments, to have a certain kind of home, and exercise certain ways and eat certain ways. So I don't think we're kind of like programmed to think and feel stuff that we don't, maybe. And I would so much like to see what would happen if a person would be raised without knowing any of these obligations that we have, any of the pressures, or because they would have like actually free will.
You can be conditioned to a certain way of thinking, a certain point of view, but we do have the capabilities to change those things. We have the capabilities to change our own ways of thinking and do what we potentially want to do if we ourselves feel comfortable with that. So there's a grey area in the middle, and I think I'm in that grey area because, again, mentally, yes, I generally have free will. But when I'm not sat in the confines of my own home, I have to conform to social norms, laws, rules, all these kinds of things. So we're in the middle somewhere.
If everyone has fun, no one has. And so if everyone has a choice, then no one has.
just the fact that we decided to follow this path, it's freedom per se. So, do we have free will? Yes, we have. Is this a good thing? I'm not super sure, because I would prefer to not be free, but not be haunted by my choices.